Hello and welcome to The Game Show, the place where we analyse and discuss gaming's biggest events. My name is Joe Curtis, and coming up on today's show, does gaming cause crimes with the Slender Man stabbing, the GTA mugging, and then we'll be having a discussion on whether or not gaming is addictive and whether the gaming industry has a positive or negative impact on its demographic with today's two guests. In 2014, two girls lured their friend into the woods and stabbed her 19 times in order to sacrifice her to the fictional character Slender Man. One of the girls was sentenced to 25 years in a mental hospital for attempted homicide. The victim managed to crawl out of the forest and was found by a cyclist. And thankfully, she survived, but she'll be left with mental and physical scars for the rest of her life. The convicted girl will be 37 by the time she's released. This is what ABC News had to say.
Two young girls allegedly stabbing their 12-year-old friend, leaving her to die in the woods. She survived. And why did they do it? Authorities say for a fictional character on the internet. Tonight, what a judge has now decided, should those girls stand trial? ABC's Alex Perez now.
They are just 12 and 13, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire. Today, a judge ruled they will stand trial for allegedly leading their friend Peyton Leitner into the woods, stabbing her 19 times and leaving her for dead, all to please a fictional character known as Slender.
As you have seen, this was a horrific incident, but it's not the only time a video game has caused a crime. A man was mugged for the game GTA 5. Here's another news report.
We told you about a mentally challenged man robbed and beaten over a video game. Tonight, his story touching so many hearts that Delray Beach Police posted on their Facebook page that they will be delivering a donated copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 to him. Police say Rohan Dawkins saved up for months working at Home Depot to buy this game. He finally bought it Tuesday at GameStop on Linton Boulevard. But that's when detectives say a couple, this one right here, snatched it from him in the parking lot, even hitting and kicking.
So, my question to you is, do video games cause crimes? Now, here to voice his opinion on this, please welcome our first guest, Mr. Mark Carlos. So, Mark, do you think video games cause crimes?
Well, personally, I'd say it's more the people, not the games, that cause the crime.
Yes.
You know, you could have someone who's played violent video games all their life, me, for example, and never want to commit a crime. And then you can have people who also play violent video games and also think, oh yeah, maybe shooting up a school would be a good idea or something like that. You know, it's not down to the games, it's down to the people, whether they have underlying mental health issues or whether they just, you know, think that crime is fun.
Yeah, and of course, some people wouldn't be attracted to those games in the first place.
Exactly.
Perhaps.
Some people, you know, are absolute pacifists and say, nope, I'm never going to play a violent video game. I'm just going to play only games that are meant for like 5-year-olds.
And on the flip side, there may be violent people who aren't attracted to those games too.
Yes, this is a good point.
Yes.
I definitely reckon it should be down. I think maybe more strict age restrictions. You know, we already have the PEGI system and stuff like that, and that does a great job. You can't buy games in store without ID. But the problem is, online shopping is so easy to get past that, because all you have to do is put in an incorrect birthday and then you're through.
So do you think there should be more meticulous ways of validating a person's age, perhaps?
Definitely, yeah.
Because there are things like Steam and Origin.
Steam, and when you go onto an age-restricted game on Steam, it just asks you to put in your birthday.
Exactly.
And you can easily put in a date that would say you're 18 when you're 17, like I do.
Yeah, exactly. It just depends on the person as well.
Easily exploitable.
Well, that's it for now. We're going to go to have a commercial, but coming up after the break is our discussion and debate about whether gaming is addictive or not.
So I choke on sun. Days blur into one. Welcome home.
Welcome back to the game show. If you're just tuning in, before the break, we were on the topic of video games' influences on crimes. So now we move on to today's discussion. Is gaming addictive? And therefore, I'd like to introduce our second guest, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. So, our topic of discussion is, are video games addictive? So, have either of you had any experiences or know of someone or something in your personal life that would allow you to voice your opinion on this?
Well, I have had some personal experience. I can remember years ago, 2003 I think it was, GTA Vice City.
Classic.
First game I played. I can honestly say I was hooked very quickly. All I wanted to do was play it. I'd play for hour upon hour. A really seriously addictive game. It's recognised, I think, that video games are addictive, and not just in a kind of day-to-day way, but also in a medical way. There's a medical condition now which you could call addiction to video games.
I see. So do you think the games themselves cause this, or is it the people that play them, or?
Well, the games themselves, by their nature, their interactivity, I mean, they're brilliant. They're incredible things that get you very quickly engrossed. They give you rewards, don't they? They make you try and try again. They're very satisfying to play. They're unlike anything else. So the games themselves, definitely, but the people who play them, which let's face it, is mostly young people.
Yes.
And young people are, I think, more likely to become addicted to video games.
I see. So Mark, what do you think?
Oh, well, I definitely think that video games can be addicting. You know, you said that they're very immersive experiences. But I think if someone is playing video games, they should know how to limit themselves.
Yes.
Or at least just tell them when it's time to have a break. Tell themselves when it's time to have a break. You know, you do have video games like Warframe that say it's been an hour, take a break. But then you also have games that have daily rewards that reward you for constantly coming back. So I do think games by nature can be very addicting, and I've seen it firsthand. Someone with a gaming addiction. But I think if you're playing a game that's rated for a certain age, if you're at that age, you should be able to limit yourself. And if you're not at that age, maybe parents, you know, if you're playing an 18 game and you're under that age, parents should maybe be intervening with how much playtime you have.
Yeah.
You know, after they've gone to bed, take the console away. But I also think consoles themselves should have more restrictions that maybe they can't be turned on after a certain time or something like that. Maybe they do, I don't know, but I think maybe more parental restrictions might be needed for those who are underage and who are more susceptible to gaming addiction.
I see. John, do you
No,
agree?
I take your point there, Mark. Parents should take a more active role in monitoring the way their children use games, but we all know, you know, that is easier said than done. It's very hard to keep an eye on what children are doing round the clock, isn't it? One thing is for sure that young people do become very quickly addicted to playing games. My experience as a teacher has shown me this. A new game comes out, becomes very popular. You can see people coming into college, they're looking tired, pale, they haven't had enough sleep because they've been up all night gaming. And where were the parents while that was going on? You know, it doesn't matter what you say or do sometimes, young people will find a way to play.
Yeah. So do you think they're like use of certain programs on computers that disable consoles at a certain time might help this issue?
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's hard for many people to show sufficient restraint. They'll just keep playing. They'll just keep playing for hour after hour.
I see. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Mark, what would you say about that? Parents restricting children's games with like programs that shut them down at a certain time?
Well, I think, yeah, they should definitely start doing that. I think consoles like the PlayStation 4, Xbox One do have parental controls on them, but I'm not sure to what extent they go up to.
I see. Well, those are two very good points. That's it for today's show. Coming up on next time on the show, with the advancement in VR technology, will augmented reality soon take over the world? So I'd like to thank our guests, Mark Carless and Jonathan Taylor, and I have been and will always be Joe Curtis. Goodbye.